Hi guys, Lindsay here with Storybook Family Farm. As you guys know, we have a big heat wave coming for us. It actually kind of sort of starts today. The highs today are supposed to be like 89, which yesterday it was about 10 degrees cooler. So that was really nice yesterday. But so over the course of the next week, we're not calling to get any rain, and it's supposed to be in the low to mid 90s, which is really hot for Ohio, especially where I live at. This is not a normal type of heat wave type thing. Normally the 90s is kind of like the highest temperatures that we see, and it's usually in like August or so. So this is kind of concerning. I'm a bit worried about how hot and dry this summer is going to end up being, which is really nice that I was able to tap into the spring that we have here to create more water catchment systems, because we are on a well, and there is a high water table here. However, things can go bad, and you got to make sure you can water your garden. One of the biggest things that I'm doing right now in preparation is something that anybody can do, and I highly suggest it, is actually putting mulch in the garden. Not like wood mulch or anything of the sort. What I actually use is I use hay. I also will use spent hay from the goats. That way it has some manure in it. But for today, what I'm using is actually just dried grass and weeds from the garden. So I watered the garden deeply this morning, which is the best time to water a garden, by the way. If you can't do morning, do evening. But if you, for some reason, you can't do either of those times, it will not like kill your plants if you water them in the afternoon. You just end up using a lot more water. The plant can't use it properly and stuff. It's just not quite the right time. But if that's your only option due to work or schedules or whatever, it's better than nothing. So what I do is I deeply water the garden before I put any mulch down. That way the ground is all nice, saturated, and wet, and then I can put the mulch on top of that will basically cover it up, serve it as like a blanket type thing for the soil, keeping it nice and cool. I'm sure you guys all have had leaf piles or things of that nature that are on the ground that the top of it is all dry and everything, and then you go to move the pile and at the bottom it is soaking wet. That's essentially creating a nice little mulch pile to protect the earth. How nature works is anytime that there is bare soil, the sun will end up basically baking it and taking out any nutrients that are in it. It will bleach it. Everybody's had clothes that stay out, that get sun bleached, that sort of a thing. The same thing will happen to soil. So nature is a very smart lady, and what happens is she will end up planting seeds, usually dandelions, the weeds, the things that we all as gardeners try to fight really hard. She will basically put them there, the wind, the birds, whatever you want to call it. Somebody will plant it there, so then that way the soil is not bare anymore, to protect the earth, to protect the soil, to keep water and moisture in the soil, so that way the worms and all the little microorganisms can be happily existing. So basically what you're doing with mulch is you are just simply mimicking the system that's already existing all around the world. So what I do is I leave a small hole in the mulch for the plant. So that way when I go to water, it's really easy to be able to pour the water right down in at the roots where the plant needs it the most. And this is just, like I said, it's just dried weeds and grass clippings. So I put it down and I just sort of tuck in the plants. You don't want to cover up the plants at all. You just want to sort of go around it, so that way you have a nice spot that you can add water to. And that way too, if it does rain, which I'm really hoping that it will soon, because we haven't had a good rain in about 2 weeks or so, and there's not any in the next week that is being called for, and it's going to be really hot and really dry, and it's already really dry, so definitely trying to conserve water. But with having a hole there, that makes it so any moisture, any water that you put on the garden, or that that the rain comes or anything like that, it'll actually put the water right where the plant needs it the most and be able to saturate the roots of the plant. So one thing that'll happen in a garden, don't panic if this happens in yours during this heat wave. If you're new to this thing, don't pull a Lindsay and panic and run out and start watering your garden because you think it's all going to die and stuff. One thing that plants will do is their leaves will start wilting really bad. So you'll see it and they'll look like, well, I actually can show you guys an example, because there's shade right here. So this cabbage here, the leaves are not they're nice, they're firm, they're crisp. And then down here, where it's more in the shade, they are falling over, they're leaning down more, and they're looking sort of floppy, like a floppy dog ear. that is what plants will do. I gotta get back in the shade. It's already in the 80s right now, and I do not fare well when it's hot and sunny. But so basically what a plant will do is they will put all of their energy into keeping the roots moist of the plant. So any excess water or moisture that is in the leaves or anywhere else in the plant, it'll basically draw it all out, sink it down into the roots as a survival mechanism. Don't panic when you see it, because I'm telling you, when you see a big old squash plant that's like 10, 15 feet long just suddenly go and look all deflated, it incites panic. It makes you panic water and stuff. And you just keep dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping and dumping more water on there, trying to revive it, not realizing that that's literally just like a design thing that, you know, there's a fly buzzing around my head. It's just the way that nature is. It's the way that it's designed to work. Is everybody who goes into survival mode. Plants are very much like humans, of needing to be hydrated, needing some protection from the elements. So if you're lucky enough to actually have a small container garden, this type of situation where it's hot like this and dry like this, it's actually really easy for you to do, because chances are you can actually move your entire garden to a shady spot or an area that's more protected. I don't know if that's a bee that keeps buzzing me. I don't know. It's driving me bonkers. But you can actually move your garden to a shady area, or even bring it inside if need be. When you're planting directly into the ground, it makes it very difficult to try to, develop any sort of shade cloth over top of it, or create shade to protect it, because, well, it's a big area, and that's kind of crazy. But so yeah, I'm hoping that nothing will die. I'm hoping that with mulching everything, that it'll be good to go. I do plan on watering throughout this heat wave and stuff. Probably in the evenings I will do most of my watering when the garden's in full shade, so I don't cook. But yeah, it's a bit concerning, but these are the things that I've been doing for years now to basically make it so that way my water gets saved for longer, it goes further, and plants don't die. That's the big thing. When it's hot and dry like this, even a very experienced gardener will suffer some losses. So hopefully my tips will help you guys, so that way you don't have as many losses. But don't panic if things start looking all wilty, because they will wilt, and then in the evening time they'll spring back to life. In the morning they'll be back to life and stuff. Just try to make sure everything stays watered. So that's my advice for you guys. I got to get this thing finished before it gets way too stifling hot and stuff, because otherwise it will have been a waste of my time to have watered this morning. So if you guys are enjoying my content, please give my videos a thumbs up, share it with your friends on social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to help us grow. We'd greatly appreciate it. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good one, guys.